This podcast is brought to you in association with From Sweden with Love, one of the oldest fan sites dedicated to the world of 007. Online since 2004 and also on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Why not check them out today? JamesBond007.se. Nobody does it better. Or as they say in Stockholm these days, ingen gör det bättre.
Every film every stunt, every story, ever heard of Evel Knievel? Welcome to the YouTube series. I'm John Orty. I'm a stunt historian, author, broadcaster and producer, and I'm the man behind the stunts on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Welcome to this series of YouTube shorts dedicated to the action and stunts in the James Bond films. My new book, Ever Heard of Evel Knievel, is the definitive guide to everything action-packed in the film franchise. The coordinators, the stories behind these incredible moments, all captured on film. We'll talk through some of those great stunt sequences and a few you may have missed along the way, so buckle up. You could be in for a bumpy ride. The book, podcast and YouTube series are also to be used as educational tools to learn from and to wonder at. Hello and welcome. My name is...
Names is for tombstones, baby.
Alright, I'll get on with it. We are in 1973 and time for Live and Let Die. Roger Moore's first outing as James Bond, and the production is so big that we have 7 action arrangers, 7 stunt coordinators responsible for looking after James Bond. In first place, of course, we've got Bob Simmons, who is looking after the studio work there at Pinewood Studios. Jerry Comeau is in charge of all of the boat action. Cars and planes are dealt with by Joey Chitwood. Bill Bennett, he's got all the hang gliders to look after. And then, of course, you've got Ross Kananga, who's in charge of crocs and alligators. Not a sentence I thought I'd hear myself saying, if I'm perfectly honest. Eddie Smith is in charge of the Black Stuntman's Association, and the wheels on the bus keep going round and round, thanks to Morris Patchett. And we're going to start at the airport, I think. So here is crash inside the hangar at the airport. The plane, inside the plane, Mrs. Bell, that's Joey Chitwood, driving the green car is Vic Rivers, and he's going to crash into the side of the plane. Look, he can't see where he's going, and he impacts into the side of the plane at a decent rate of knots. Watch the bonnet upon impact as it flies up into the air, and the idea is to give enough, it's got to really hit it, look at that, bang, to shove it right across in the path of the oncoming car, which is in the distance there. It's driven by Jim Heck. And there's the plane going by, and you just see the plane coming across in line with the ramp that's just there appearing in shot now. It's yellow, it's got paint pots on it, they're trying to disguise it. In comes Jim. He's really got to start flying here, putting his foot down, because by the time the wheels get to the top of the ramp, they are airborne now, up and not touching the ramp anymore, then goes up onto the fuselage and turns the car over. and he's got to be doing 40 plus, probably 45 miles an hour as he goes. Look at that, it's amazing. Normally you'd have a ramp to do that. Look at the marks down the side of the fuselage where the car has gone, bitten into the side of it, and that's what's caused it to flip over. It's pure momentum timing. That's why Joey Chitwood was a terrific idea, a great choice to have live performers create the action for the movie, because they really know what they're doing. Stopwatch and flags, and that's what they're doing. They work everything out and they perform these type of gags on a regular basis. This was one they hadn't done before, but they worked everything out. Look, and there's Chitwood going by as Mrs. Bell. Good stuff, that. And I think we'll leave the last word to Bond.
Same time tomorrow, Mrs. Bell?
Take a look at part of the boat chase, and there's some of the aspects of it that I wanted to just clear up. There's Roger clearly doing an awful lot of his own boat stuff. I particularly like this boat that comes out of the wood here. Look, he comes over the side here and then gets caught on the wake and starts bouncing about. Oh man, that's crazy. Now, the clever thing about Jerry Comeau is he managed to get these high-powered boats to leap by shoving the engine forward. Look, it's in that forward position, so it keeps it streamlined. That's how he manages to keep all of the distance. They have to shove that forward every time they come to a little ramp, and these guys do it successfully. This guy, not so much, by heading into the trees. Crunch. Ouch. Now, the jump itself has got some safety issues as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's magnificent. Get a load of this. It's wonderful. Look, up in the air, and look how close the actors are to the underside of the boat. I mean, they're really underneath the boat when Jerry's jumping it. And, does it need to be done that way? These days, it certainly wouldn't be done that way, I wouldn't have thought. It's still very, very exciting, but there's the shot that happens behind the camera position where everybody's watching. And he gets a shot off, and of course the engine gets hit. But then it happens again, and this one's even closer. Look, he's right over the top of his head and into the water. And then gets to watch the boat sail off into a little troubled water. Now let's have a chat with Vic Armstrong about his time working with Bob Simmons and doubling Roger Moore in the end fight sequence. Here we go.
Again, was a very fortuitous for me. Bob Simmons was coordinating, choreographing the fight, and I got called in because Roger's normal stunt double, Les Crawford, was off sick. He couldn't get there, had a cold or something, so they called me in.
Right.
And I had 2 weeks of literally fantastic tuition of learning how to choreograph fights, how to work them out, how to invent them with Bob Simmons, who is very underrated and never got the credit, I don't think, that he should have done, because he was a brilliant choreographer, and working out the angles for the camera and how they'd shoot it and everything else. It was second to none. So I'm working very closely with him, working out the fight after I've come off the suspension thing I was hanging on, and then knocking Yaphet Kotto into the whatever he fell into with a pellet in his mouth that then exploded.
Oh yeah, right.
I learned a huge amount, and while we're doing it, we were talking about From Russia with Love, the fight in the train carriage, which a lot of that fight was based on. It's very close quarters, very realistic. And From Russia with Love has always been one of my favorite fights, I think. And I learned so much from doing that sequence. And again, now I've got, three notches on my belt sort of thing of Bonds I worked on. So suddenly when you do go for jobs, because you had to go and sell yourself and knock on doors, and, they say, who are you? What have you done? And, well, I did the last 3 Bonds, dabba-dabba-doo. And nobody really asked what you did on them, but the fact that you worked on them and everything else, it stands you in great stead. So that was, all 3 were an incredible accelerator for my career, I must say.
And standing up there, did you literally just sort of had to grab the bar from the underside and then flip over to get the momentum to let it swing back so you got off the other side? Is that how that worked?
Yeah, it was, but the whole thing was a bit of a mess, really, because we had a platform and then there's a hoop over it, and the top of the hoop was attached to a chain.
Right.
I cut myself free with a special watch he's got, and then
Yep.
do a handstand on the edge of the platform and just hold on tight and swing around in a big loop and drop onto the ground.
Right. Okay.
We rehearsed and everything else at low heights and swinging around onto a pad, so I landed. When we came to shoot it, we were then 8 feet off the ground, wherever it was, and I did the jump, or at least the movement,
Yep.
and as my weight came down on full force, because there were no pads underneath me, it was just my weight. Obviously, accelerates your weight, exaggerates your weight. The whole platform bent and shifted, so I dropped another sort of 18 inches and smashed into the ground with my heels.
Oh,
And really, really busted them up badly and bruised them. I couldn't literally walk, you know. It was the end of the day and the take, and we did it. And I literally went to the bathroom and got loads of tissue paper and rolled them up, put them under my instep because my heels couldn't touch the ground. They're so
couldn't
painful.
put them down. Wow.
Certainly bruised. It's what they call guardsman's heel.
Right.
I couldn't even go upstairs. I had to go up on my hands and knees on the stairs. But now I came back to work the next day with my insteps padded up to the eyeballs with paper so my heels didn't touch the ground, and full of painkillers. And we carried on and did the fight. Thank God I didn't have to do the jump again. And
I was going to say that's it. You've got to, yeah.
You learn there that you have to rehearse, even down to the very last detail of. It was just the fact that we did it that much higher off the ground where the weight became more apparent.
So if you've enjoyed today's show, and let's be honest, why wouldn't you? Then subscribe. The buttons are down here. Click the subscribe button and enter a world of excitement. Simply the touch of a button. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.